MK1, we're gonna talk about the state of this game because I know everybody has been seeing all over the place. You know, we have the definitive edition now. Usually those type of editions means that the post-launch support is over, so no more characters, possibly still some updates, you know, here and there, of course, you know, during the competitive season at least. Some quality of life updates, some, you know, trying to fix, you know, little bugs here and there and stuff like that. But as far as like, you know, more characters, more big changes, this basically means it's done. So now I think it is a great time to talk openly and truthfully about how I feel about MK1. I know a lot of things have been said like heat of the moment, so I want this to serve as a time for me to really talk as just clearly about how I feel about everything in this game. We're gonna go through everything. We're gonna go through the single player stuff. We're gonna go through the multiplayer stuff. We're gonna go through like practice tools, all that. But anyway, so we're gonna start from the top to the bottom. But before that, I do want to say this to the developers at NRS. I want to say this to Ed Boon. I want to say this to like everybody involved with the game that, you know, is not just a player or a TO, just everybody who's like actually had a hand in like, you know, making this game what it was. I just want to let you know, because there is a lot of these, you know, hate mongering channels that are going around and just completely like, you know, deserved in some spots to be real, but just completely just tearing y'all down and all that. I'm here to say this: game development is hard and I respect what y'all do, and I am also very grateful for MK1. I know that's a little weird for me because I've been very vocal about like my distaste of like a lot of what this game is, but I do appreciate that we got another Mortal Kombat. I love Mortal Kombat. I grew up on Mortal Kombat. You know, I grew up on fighting games in general, but especially Mortal Kombat was a big thing in my household. Literally, it started with vanilla MK3 on the Super Nintendo, my mom beating my ass with Sindel, my dad and me having back and forth, you know, with our Sub-Zero, and I think I mostly played like Cyrax in that game because Scorpion wasn't in it, so I was gonna pick the other yellow character. I really do appreciate y'all giving us another Mortal Kombat. I think anybody who wants to sit here and be ungrateful, they're definitely like completely out of touch. I really do think that you, on a base level, you have to appreciate that you got another game in your series, because there was possibly a chance that we could never get another like Mortal Kombat and stuff like that, right? Like there was possibly a chance of that happening. There's a chance that this could have been another Injustice, which I love Injustice games. Justice 2 was a very good game for me. Like, you can say that because I played zoners and stuff, but like altogether, like even before like I picked up the zoning characters, like it was a really fun game, a really fun system, had actual defensive mechanics that made sense. I like Clash. I love the assortment of characters, some lesser known than others, but it's cool seeing those lesser known characters be brought up. And of course, you know, the customization, the single player content, the, you know, just the everything about that game. Injustice 2 was really cool. So this could have been Injustice 3, which Injustice 3 might be next up. That's what the rumor is, but we'll see. But I do appreciate that we have another Mortal Kombat. So NRS, thank you for giving us another game. Thank you for continuing the lineage of Mortal Kombat. I had to get that out because, like I said, there's just too many of these channels out here that are doing nothing but hate. I have looked through a lot of these channels and all they do is spread negativity. 99% negativity and 1% a funny podcast with Tom Brady. Shout outs to Tom Brady though. He's one of my favorite people to listen to because he really knows what's up. I'm not saying this to be toxic positive or anything either. Like I'm saying this, you know, being grateful, being appreciative that we got like another Mortal Kombat. And not everything in this game is bad, or at least it got better. And we're gonna talk about all that right now. So I wanted to get that through. And now, I guess a good place to start is the store, because this is one of the major things that are not good with this game. The reason why I'm gonna start with the store is, this is not to say that they don't have cool stuff in the store. This is to say that the pricing on a lot of things started very bad. And even when they kind of started like normalizing some of the pricing on things, I still do think there's too much emphasis on this shop right here. Even though might have to get this Scorpion, I'm not gonna lie to you. This Liu Kang is fucking dope. Like they got dope stuff, right? Like, look, they got the movie skins for the new Mortal Kombat movie. Like, this type of stuff, I don't completely mind. You know, little things like this, these little hats, all this stuff. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because a lot of this stuff was either in Invasions or it was in, you know, a season of Kombat. So what I'm trying to get at is that there is a lot of FOMO that they trying to take advantage of when it comes to this game, when it comes to this rotating shop. And I understand why they have the rotating shop, which, by the way, I'm about to grab this because I have just extra shits like laying around, and why not, right? Like, you got the extra stuff laying around, you might as well, right? Like, look, they're selling easy fatality tokens. If y'all don't learn how to do a fatality in Mortal Kombat, are you actually playing Mortal Kombat? I'm just saying. They take advantage of a lot of like foam. We have seen things from like the seasons of Kombat League and stuff end up, you know, you having to buy it like straight up with real money. So if you didn't want to do Invasions one season, or you didn't want to do Kombat League, but you wanted that really cool like Baraka skin or something, right? Because that man barely gets skins, but he got like a really cool skin. It's probably gonna end up in the premium shop, and you have to pay like, it would probably be reduced in price, right? But still, you'd have to like fork over some actual money to get these dragon crystals and get that skin. I feel like the pricing for the dragon crystals in general, and this is gonna probably get me a lot of flack, but this is actually like, with games that have this type of thing, this is actually like one of the better like economies, because like the actual USD price of these actually, they translate really well to how many dragon crystals you get. You know, $5 for 500 dragon crystals, $10 for, you know, 1250, which like you would you know, think if you kind of get your math right, you're getting more dragon crystals, you know, for that value. You know, the same with the $20, the same with the $40, right? Now, there are ways to get free dragon crystals. You can level up characters in the mastery, and I believe like there's a couple of levels there, maybe there's more. I don't remember, that they actually give you dragon crystals. So, you know, it's probably worth actually mastering like a bunch of characters. They also have this one-time dragon pack, these kind of mid katana skins, not gonna lie, but you also get like 850 dragon crystals, which honestly, that's not a terrible deal. I wish the skins for katana were better, because you get 2 character skins, right? And you get a little more than the $5 version of just getting the dragon crystals themselves. You get more. You get like 350 more. That's not terrible, but the skins were mid. Oh, they also have the Scorpion one as well. I'm done beating up on the shop. We know that shop is ass. A lot of the skins in this game are absolute dog shit. The only ones that were like really cool in this game, like really cool, was like the holiday ones, and like when they brought back the classic stuff, and then maybe this one for Scorpion, right? Like this skin, this is a try-hard Scorpion skin. They also brought back Deadly Alliance Scorpion, which I don't know how I feel about this. And y'all know I'm a Scorpion fan. I don't know, it just didn't translate well to this game. A lot of the skins that they brought back didn't really translate that well. Like, not to nitpick here, I don't want to completely nitpick here, but if you can see up there on the top of his head, and it's gonna be zoomed in probably in editing, why does he have the MK4 cat ears in the UMK3 skin? This is with all the UMK3 skins, by the way. That is the MK4 hood. They got it. How do you get that wrong? And there's like a bunch of things they actually got wrong with that in this game. I don't have the old Lee May skin because I never played this character. I don't have it. There's some stuff they kind of edited on that as well. The Natara skin as well, which I'm not like gonna be a stickler for like things that, you know, the Coomers are probably looking for or whatever, right? Like, you know, y'all know I'm like a D1 gooner, but like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna like nitpick on that, but at the same time, why change it? There's a reason why we like those skins like how they are. If it's gonna be gooner shit, then let it be gooner shit, right? If it's gonna be like, you know, I want Scorpion's flaming head to like look like an actual floating skull, then make it look like an actual floating skull. You know what I'm saying? Do I have the, I don't even think I have the Christmas skin. I don't play reptiles, so I don't have the Christmas skin. And you can't look at the skins because they're not in the shop. They're not in the shop. You cannot see what it is. So what I kind of wish they did, at least, you know, kind of going back to the shop a little bit. I cannot believe Call of Duty has done something better than MK. Also, we need more Ashra skins. Like right there, this is cool. I need a bigger hat though. I need the Mortal Kombat Deception Ashra, bro. The palettes are pretty cool, although I will say, like, when you're looking at, like, I'm not even gonna bring up MK11 because I think MK11's customization was not the greatest either, because a lot of it was recolors. There just were a lot more skins that had like 8 recolors. How do you go from from Injustice 2 to MK11 to MK1. Lots of this shit was just in the game. You unlocked it. There was a reason to do the single player content. They had like the multiverse thing going on. Like say for instance, Deadshot, right? So like different pieces of gear, they had like different rarity. And they give you like different stats because like in the single player modes and then like, you know, maybe multiplayer modes that allow like different stat bonuses, you know, and different things like that. You can get like things that would augment your stats, give you different moves and all that, right? Like look at this, impenetrable body shield, and it's part of a set as well. So there's set bonuses. So there was a reason to actually grind. You didn't have to be a tournament player for this game. You literally can just grind for the best shit to make your single player journey in like the boss towers and stuff like even better, right? Also, yes, the menu was so much better. I got different guns. You got guns that are part of a set and, you know, different, you know, stat values there. You can even find more abilities. You can find more moves. I have the Staff of Grayson. It's so cool. And by the way, this game made Robin cool, by the way. I never thought Robin was cool until this game. There was a lot of character changes that were kind of head scratchers. Let me get the elephant in the room out of here real quick. I did not care that much that they changed Sector and Cyrax because like the essence of like who those characters are still there. Whereas with Scorpion, that does not feel like Scorpion at all. Guys, I know, Mosif especially, and you can tell survive this. All those times I was saying I don't care that Scorpion's Kuai Liang this time, I care, nigga. I fucking care. The facade is gone, dog. Well, it just doesn't feel like Scorpion. He just doesn't feel like Scorpion at all. It doesn't feel like the vengeful spirit. Sub-Zero's nice though. Noob Saibot being more like chaos now. Honestly, this is one of the cooler versions of Noob Saibot. I'm not gonna front. Cyrax is cool, Sector is cool, Ermac is ugly, but I am glad that they did bring the classic ninja Ermac, which by the way, can't even see that skin because I'd never bought it. Takeda's pretty cool. Takeda as a DLC character is interesting to me because I was thinking, okay, maybe they're gonna bring the rest of the Kombat kids, but no, we got Conan. Conan's cool. I will say all the guest characters actually ended up being pretty cool. Shang Tsung is awesome. I love him in this game. Character wise, gameplay wise, he's really cool. Buff Shang though, he does like no damage. Katana's great in this game. I'm tired of the Katana down players. Melina's really good. General Shao. A lot of people didn't like that this wasn't Shao Kahn, but I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm gonna be real hot take. The axe is cooler. Sindel's fucking ridiculous. I love Sindel. Let me know, because I'm definitely turning this into a video. Let me know in the comments or hit me up on my socials if y'all know any like Sindel cosplayers. Go ahead and send them my way. I'm just saying, like I'm actually being serious. Like send them my way. You know what I'm saying? Tanya cosplayers too. You know. Rain, don't know how I feel about him being a wizard instead of a ninja, but he ended up being kind of saucy. Reiko being a Shao Kahn fanboy is kind of weird, but he plays pretty cool. Man grabs, you know, giving you the paradigm shift. The John Moxley. I had a lot of fun during my week of Reiko. If y'all remember that, it was really cool. Raiden is boring as shit in this game. Here's my thing about Raiden. Okay, here's my thing about Raiden, Liu Kang, and Kung Lao. All right, and this goes into the story. So we're gonna start talking story. This story started off great. Yes, this is another positive I'm giving MK1. Oh my God, he's giving MK1 too many positives. This game is dog shit. The story started off amazing. I thought it was great. You know, it's a really good, fresh start. You know, Liu Kang, you know, remaking the timeline, the universe, and his image. Things are, you know, just starting off fresh, right? I know there's the whole thing of like, you know, Liu Kang probably just doing Raiden a solid because, you know, Raiden helped him out so much in the past timeline. And this goes into Kung Lao. Where the fuck is the great Kung Lao? At the end of Aftermath, we had a little tiny interaction between Liu Kang and the great Kung Lao. This could have been finally the in-game story with the great Kung Lao. We could have seen how cool the great Kung Lao was. We could have seen like all of his, you know, escapades, you know, all of that, right? But no, they made Kung Lao a jobber again. They made him a jobber again, and they gave it to the painfully humble Raiden. And I think Raiden's boring as shit gameplay wise and story wise. They just gave this nigga everything. At least Liu Kang, when he was winning everything, had a lot more substance to his character, right? He had a lot more substance. he was 1,000 times cooler. I was never a Liu Kang fan, but he was 1,000 times cooler than Raiden. If you like Raiden, I'm sorry. You probably turned off the video by now, but listen, look, your character's boring as shit. You're probably boring as shit. And this is coming from a person who's also boring as shit. All I do is work out, and then come home and play games. But yeah, that's my thing about the story. I thought the story was great until like midway through like the tournament thing. The tournament felt useless. They started going into this Marvel like multiverse stuff. Can we please stop? Even Marvel's learning from its mistakes, and now it's like, you know, trying to just cultivate its other characters now, instead of just like, hey, it's the same character but it's from like a different multiverse for the most part, because I know the Robert Downey Jr. Doctor Doom is a variant. This game will not get away from that. This was a chance for a fresh start. And then Chaos Reigns, let's not even talk about the dog shit that was Chaos Reigns. I'm sorry, that was like one of the worst fighting game stories I've ever played. And I've played Street Fighter V story. I do not want to see how insufferable Lao would have been if it were him. Honestly, I did. Because honestly, that'd be a lot of comedy relief. That would also be a new version of Lao. You know, a refresh of Kung Lao. I think that actually would have been dope. Could you imagine Kung Lao with electricity? And then you know what? That could add character development, because then watch. You get the character development, and maybe throughout the story, especially if they don't fuck it up with the multiverse stuff, he becomes more humble, you know, he has more humility and all that stuff, because, you know, he's got the responsibility of being the champion of Earthrealm, right? You could have wrote like such a better story, right? But instead, you tried to remake a Liu Kang. You made him even more boring. The man doesn't even scream gibberish when he does the electric fly. Get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry, guys. I had the rant about that. So I'd say the main story, I'll give the main story like a 7 out of 10. It would have been at least like an 8 or a 9 if they didn't like out of nowhere just go wacky with the multiverse crap. Chaos Reigns is a fucking 2 out of 10. Chaos Reigns was awful. The only reason we got Chaos Reigns was to get Ghostface and the other characters. I do like most of the redesigns for the characters though. Like Gears is actually even more interesting now. Baraka being a good guy is awesome. So is Reptile. Those guys are definitely MVPs of the story. Johnny Cage, I like his character development. Natara, I think Natara is cool, but Megan Fox, you are an actual actress. You could have put a little more in this performance. I'm not gonna, you know, try to make the, you know, the clickbaity like clip like oh my god, Megan Fox is the worst voice actress of all fucking time, because I know plenty of people that would probably do worse. But come on, you could have put a little more. She's pretty cool though, and she's hot. It's Megan Fox. I fucking hate Smoke. I hate Leffen, bro. My man literally looks like Leffen, dog. Look at him. Not gonna lie, I popped when I saw Omni-Man. I do like Invincible. I also like The Boys, so Homelander's pretty cool. Homelander's broke right now. If you want to win, pick Homelander Farah, and you're gonna win. Like, that's literally how it is. But Homelander's cool, but I really think they could have saved these guys for Injustice 3. Peacemaker's pretty funny. Shouts to John Cena, ruining pro wrestling. Also ruining Mortal Kombat for like 2 months, and then they nuked him. Ghostface is actually mad fun. I didn't think I was gonna have as much fun with Ghostface as I did. Ghostface is actually mad cool. Conan actually also turned out actually mad cool. Not gonna front. I still don't care about Conan as much, but they did a pretty good job with him. T-1000 is godlike. So honestly, characters wise, I would give this part, if we were giving number ratings, I already gave my number ratings for the story. It's like a 7 out of 10 as well. I don't hate all of them at all. Like, there's only like a couple I don't like straight up, and that's Havoc and Scorpion. We're gonna talk about features. So you got the story, you got 2 stories if you bought Chaos Reigns. Don't buy Chaos Reigns, by the way. Just buy the characters. Invasions, I don't like this mode at all. I could see Invasions being like good for somebody. I could see them making improvements to it, but I don't know. I long for the days that we just have Conquest mode again, or do like another Crypt, like they did at MK11, where like the Crypt was like its own little game, basically. It was really cool. Towers. So we have Towers of Time and we have the Classic Towers. So the Classic Towers are, of course, your Classic Towers, you know, Novice all the way to Champion, and then you have your Endless and you have your Survival. Towers of Time is a pretty interesting thing. Get this shit out of my face. Towers of Time is a pretty interesting thing. They got a bunch of theme towers, different modifiers and everything. When they were bringing out DLC, characters, they actually had the preview towers for the DLC characters, so they were doing the same thing basically as MK11. So Towers of Time, you know, pretty cool if you're into that. I'm not completely into that. I'll tell you this though, one thing I don't like is the fact that I have to press start to go back to the main menu out of this thing. Versus mode, of course, your versus modes, local, online, tournament. We gotta talk about this online. This is a hot topic. We got Kombat League, you know, good old rank, get some rewards, stuff like that. That's actually a really cool Melina palette, not gonna front. And then the Warrior Shrine. We did not have the Warrior Shrine for like a year. And you know what it is, guys? It's literally just, which is cool, it's the top 5 of every season, even past seasons, which is cool. You know, you can straight up just be, you know, immortalized basically forever in the game server as being like one of the top placers of a season. That's pretty interesting, except I don't think you get any extra rewards for this. I know it's a nitpick as well, but like it would have been cool if they had a statue representing the character that you played, right? I understand why they have this. You know, King, you know, Prince Goro, you know, Liu Kang, all that stuff. But like, first of all, why is Goro not in the game? Like, as a playable character, if you're gonna be doing all this, like, make him a playable character. But that's off on a tangent. Dialogue does not play Sonya. Versus, you know, you got your casual versus your casual King of the Hill, you know what I mean, stuff like that. Private match, you got your versus King of the Hill, and then we got online practice after a year, by the way. I'm glad it's here. I'm not gonna be ungrateful. I'm glad it's here. Better late than never, but damn, this was really late. If you notice, if you've played past MK games or Injustice games, if you've noticed, we're missing something. We're missing something that's been in these games since MK9, since even before MK9, since like MK like Armageddon. We don't have rooms. We still don't have rooms. We still can't make a giant lobby to have that ecosystem of players. We don't have that. There is crossplay in this game. It took a while for crossplay to be in this game too. I originally was going to just get this game on PC because I was going to assume that, hey, you know, they're going to have crossplay with PC, and, you know, all that stuff and all that, you know, like every game in the existence. And, you know, they already tested out their crossplay, and, you know, they, you know, they tested it out with MK11, you know, they got it together. Nope, it took a few months for us to get actual crossplay. It took so long that us at Mortal Kombat Online, shouts to MKO, we had to cancel a big event that we were going to do because it took way too long and the interest was dwindling. Because also the state of the game was becoming worse at the same time. Yeah, so there's some little like insider info right there. If I get shot at by Survive for like letting y'all know, you know, so be it. But nah, I'm sure this is the time to let y'all know there were a lot of things that we had planned for MKO that we could not do because of things that were missing from this game. So yeah, that's like online features right there. We're still missing some vital stuff. We're missing those rooms. You know what I mean? Kombat League is freaking useless now because it used to be 3 out of 5, so it used to be actual tournament rules. Now it's not even the actual competitive rules. It's 2 out of 3. One thing I said at the beginning of the lifespan of this game was that I do kind of like how you're not able to just straight up counterpick with characters. You can change your cameos, but you're not able to counterpick with your characters. Here to say that I was probably wrong. Being stuck in matchups does kind of suck, but also I was still kind of right. Whereas, you know, I'm sure everybody was tired of being chased around the character select screen all day. I get both sides of it. I don't know how I feel about it. I think the cameos do enough. We got tournament mode. That's basically what they use for all the pro competition tournaments and stuff like that, and the locals. Customize, we're already looking at that. You can customize your playable character and your cameo. See, like she has her Mortal Kombat 3, and then she also has her Mortal Kombat 1. That would have been cool if they also brought maybe like an MK11 as well. Or, you know, what would be even cooler if they made her playable. And of course, we have the Shrine, which you can go ahead and spend your regular coins. If you got 1,000 or up, you can get randomized rewards from the season. It is possible to get all the rewards for the season. I remember last season, I got all the rewards like in basically one big pool. They didn't have jack shit in it. This is the meat and potatoes. This is what everybody's waiting for. Damn, what's he gonna say about the gameplay? The cast of characters that they have, pretty good. I love Missile Mommy. I feel like they hit the mark for a lot of people. I feel like, you know, some of the characters that like people are asking for were maybe a little too obscure. And I'm saying this in like Natara is in the game, but I feel like the cast is not terrible. You know, you got like a cast that like houses like a bunch of playstyles. You got zoning, you got like hybrid zoning, you got grappler, you got straight up brawlers, like straight up rushdown. You know, you got everything in between, counter zoning. Like, there actually is a lot of like everything in this game. A problem does not lie in the actual characters. The problems lie in the cameos. Now, I will say, I don't think the idea of cameos are awful, right? I don't think it's like absolutely, you know, this is like the dumbest shit ever, but it actually turned out to be the dumbest shit ever in application, especially later on. Cameos are better than the characters. Say for instance, Sonya here, you know, I got like mid onion rings. She has a plus overhead that launches. Yes, it's plus on block, and then that's her big, like, you know, self-damaging, but like instant launching like big overhead. So like with certain characters, that shit is like dumb, right? Sonya, I feel like, is one of the cameos that like aren't like completely breaking the game. But you know who is? Like, you know, Movado, you know, letting Havoc basically do whatever he wants because he put out the mine. Pharah, especially with Homelander or Scorpion. A lot of people are exploiting Tremor now. What I will say is that the cameos will give you a lot to explore. Cameos are not terrible, some of them. So it's like, you're not even, like, a lot of times you're not even playing against your opponent. You're playing against like your opponent's like cameo, right? Like you're playing against character. You're not playing against your opponent. I've lost hella matches that I feel like I was a better fighting game player than my opponent, but because they had a certain team, I got completely fucked up. I feel like at times, depending on what's going on in the meta, you can't even tell me about a character. I don't like how much the cameos like rule the game. I don't mind there being another wrinkle in the game as far as like, you know, the assist, but I feel like this would have worked better either as a straight up tag game, or you could have saved the assist stuff for maybe Injustice. This gameplay, honestly, not terrible, especially with some of the great patches they have been doing with this game. I feel like this game has actually gotten better. The meta is ever evolving, which is good. That's good. That's good for the health of a game. I actually would give the gameplay probably a 7 out of 10. I think this game can be very fun. It can be very unfun at times as well, especially when you're going against like people like Cyrax, Serena, Cyrax Madame Bo, Sector Botaro, Sector Sonya, you know what I mean? Anybody with like Chameleon, Pharah with Homelander, like it can get very unfun. So I think that's everything, right? I think that's about everything. MK1, I think I kind of went through everything. The practice mode is, you know, it's alright. It can be better. I've played games with better practice modes. I still hate how NRS games are very anti-fight stick / hitbox with some of the things that they have. I would say like on an average score, since I gave like stuff like mostly like around like 6 or 7s and stuff like that, but I did give Chaos Reigns a 2. I think like the average score for this is probably going to be around like a 6. Chaos Reigns was dog shit. I don't like how the cameos just rule everything in the game, but it is getting a little better. It has been getting a little better for the actual characters. They're still missing online features. The store is still kind of dumb. But there is a lot of cool things in this game as well. So I think like a 6 out of 10 is definitely a worthy score for this game. I appreciate this game for what it was. I appreciate the opportunities this game has given me as far as like, you know, tournament organization, commentary, content, you know, all that stuff. I do appreciate that. I'm not going to be ungrateful. You know what I mean? I just hope that on the next game that NRS does is much better. That's all I hope. You gotta start getting better, because like you're kind of going backwards. It's like from MK9, from MKX even, you started going a little backwards, you know, and Justice 2 even, you started going a little backwards. So I don't know what's going on over there at NRS and WB, but it needs to like stop, and you need to go back to what was working. Anybody, I feel like, who gives it anything like lower is really just hate mongering. I really don't think it's like a completely just deplorable game. But I will say, if you wanted to buy this game right now, make sure you do not buy it for full price. And you might, I guess you would go ahead and get the definitive edition if you wanted everything. But if you don't care about it that much, you don't even need to do that. Don't even. That's how I feel about the game. Probably a very long-winded. I gotta edit like a bunch of stuff together. But yeah, that's gonna be dope. And that's about it for that. I'm gonna get off of this game.